Hello and welcome to my tutorial on using OneNote Class Notebook. So to access OneNote Class Notebook, go on to a search engine like Google and type in OneNote Class Notebook. And then it will come up with a link like this. So the link you'll want is this one, OneNote Class Notebook. Select that link and it will load here. Now, normally it will ask you to sign in if you haven't signed in already. However, I've signed in already, and as you can see up in the top right corner, there's my name. But if it asks you to sign in, just do as you normally do and sign in with your username as associated with the education department and your password. But then once you've signed in, you'll be welcome to this page and you should see your name up here in the top right hand corner. I'm going to click on create a class notebook, but as you can tell there are three other things here. You can read them yourself, but they're pretty self-explanatory. I can take you through them another time if you wish. But for now we're just going to click create a class notebook. So the first thing that comes up are these steps to the side, 1 to 7. And it guides you through creating your notebook to make it as simple as possible. Number 1 is add a notebook name. So in this case, I'm going to add this name Short Film Studies, as I'm going to make a notebook for my Short Film Studies class, and then click Next. And then we come to Notebook Overview. There's nothing you really have to do here, it's just giving you an overview of what your notebook's going to have in it. So you're going to have a collaboration space, something where the teacher can edit and the students can edit content. A content library where only the teacher can edit content, but students can only view the content. And then student notebooks. Well, basically here, both the students and teachers can edit the notebooks, but there's only one notebook assigned to one student. Now, if this isn't quite clear to you right now, it will make sense later when I create my notebook. So nothing really to do here, but click Next. And then we're going to add another teacher if we want. So you can add teachers to collaborate and make one awesome notebook that you share amongst all your classes in science, English, maths, etc. It's entirely up to you. In this case, I'm just going to, for this demonstration, I'm just going to click Next, but you can add teachers' email addresses. And because your account is already signed in, their email address should appear as you type it in, as I'm going to show you now with the students. So I'm going to click Next for this part. And now I'm going to start entering my student names. Now, obviously for this demonstration, I'm going to do every student in my class. I'm just going to show you a couple and how it works. So I'm going to type in Miller. I'm going to type in the last name first. And as you can tell, you've got to give it a bit of time. There's those little dots that came up to search for the name Miller. Obviously, there's a spelling mistake there. And P, and it will slowly search. And this is the student we want, RIH in brackets. So we know the student belongs to our school. I'm going to select him. I've got those two students, that's their email addresses they're in. So basically, because we've signed in with our education account up here, it automatically knows all the student addresses and our teacher email addresses. So the same would happen if you add teacher email addresses. I'm going to click Next. Obviously, you'd add your whole class. I'm just adding 2 for this demonstration. This part is where you're creating what the student's notebook will have in it. So it automatically defaults to these 4, where you have handouts, class notes, homework and quizzes. Now, I don't really want quizzes, but I might want, say, video research. So now I'm going to have 4 tabs that they'll have in their class notebook specific to each student, and it'll have those 4 tabs. Anything you don't want, you just simply click on the little tick in the box and the tick will disappear and it becomes blank, and that will no longer appear in their class notebook. But in this case, I want them to have homework. I just don't want them to have quizzes, so I'm going to leave that one blank. And like I said, if I want to create a new one specific to my subject, I just select add more and start typing as you saw. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to click Next. Here's a quick preview. So here's teacher's notebook. It's highlighted in purple. Yep, that's what it's going to look like roughly. You have a welcome space. I'll go through that in a moment. Collaboration space, which I spoke to about before in the content library. And here's my 2 students. Now you will have more, of course. I've only done the 2 for this demonstration. Student's notebook. This is what they want to look like. It'd be welcome, collaboration space, content library. But what's most important here is this part. You've only got Miller Patrick. What it's doing here is it's picking one student and it's showing you what their notebook will look like. So Miller Patrick's notebook will look like this: handouts, class notes, homework, research. He will not be able to see Emily's notebook, only his own. But as the teacher, I can see both. But going back to Miller Patrick, he can only see his. I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to click Create. OneNote will start thinking and collating all this information together to create your OneNote book before it moves on to the next page. Okay, next page. So it's saying, yep, it's all successfully done. Big tick there. There's been no errors with the internet. So we have your notebook. So we have your notebook short film studies is ready for you. And below that are two separate links. One's highlighted in purple and one's kind of set in black in brackets. They're self-explanatory. One will open in the OneNote that's installed on your computer, and this one will open in the OneNote that's online. Now, I prefer the one that's installed on your computer. You can do a lot more with it, so I'm going to open it in that OneNote, and also I'm going to click on this one. But if you want to open the OneNote online, just click on this one. As I said, I'm going to open it here. This just still comes out, just a little warning link. Yes, you okay for opening it in OneNote 2016? Yep, that's fine. I want you to remember that for the future, and I'm going to say yes to that. So here we have the finished notebook. Short film studies, there's the name of it here. Our welcome page on here, it just basically gives you some guidance as to using OneNote. But if you notice to the right, it's got other things here to guide you through as well. If you want to read that and go through in your own time, that's in my pages. What is this space used for? Well, basically this space is used for your own class notes. You may want to call this a class notes. Very original, I understand. And here I'm going to have lesson 1. So pretend it's my very first lesson in short film studies. This page is going to be called lesson 1. I'm going to type out my lesson, how that's going to look. I can present this on the whiteboard as if it was a PowerPoint. That's all fine. And then I go, right, that lesson went really well. Perfect. I'm going to make my next lesson. I call this lesson 2. So I've added pages and so on. That's all personal to me unless I decide to display that on the projector in the classroom. Otherwise, that's it. You just add pages and you keep adding lessons. So that's my space. But here we have the collaboration space. So it explains what it does here, but essentially I can put material on here and the students can put material on here. We can work together if you can trust your students, that is. So that's pretty cool. You have your content library where you can add things and then students can't manipulate it. The only thing they can do is view it. And then finally I have my students. So here they are. So I've clicked on handouts. This is where he's going to access all the handouts I give them. Class notes. This is where he writes down his own class notes specific to him. Homework. This is where he produces his homework. And that extra tab which I created was called video research. Now I click on this little green arrow to go back and it takes me back to this main menu again. Now let's say I didn't like that collaboration space. I thought, well, I can't really trust students with that in my class. All you need to do is go over to that collaboration space, right click, and then select delete. And it will say, you sure? And we'll say yes, and it's now gone. So you don't have to have any of these that you don't want. It's as simple as that. So hopefully this helps you. If you do have any questions though, feel free to email me or come and see me at any point during the school year.